If you're watching this video, you're probably just like me. You are burnt out on the life Western civilization has sold you. Work 30 years, get a mortgage, have some kids, retire with 15 years left to our name. And in this process, you're asking the question why the entire time. What's the whole point of buying things to impress people that we don't even like? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a solution. But first, I must ask you to let go of all the traditional guru pieces of information, because this is going to be a video of unlearning. We're not going to be able to bring some fancy framework into here. We're not going to bring the manifestation talk, the I need more shiny objects or more money, or a fancier house, a faster sports car. This is going to be an act of letting go. And when you can truly surrender to a power greater than yourself, you are set free. And this is the eternal wisdom that the greatest sages of all time have passed down. In the Bible, it says the kingdom of heaven is within. It is not external. There's a verse in Jesus that says, stop looking there. Stop looking here. Stop going to these Pharisees or these people that tell themselves they're gatekeepers of God, and go within yourself. And this information is not just reserved to the Bible, right? Rumi says it when he says, what you seek is seeking you. Joe Dispenza says it when he says, go to the quantum field and meditate into the state of stillness. Meditate into the state you are free of all your desires, all your grievances, all your judgments, and all of your attachments. Because in that place you find connection to a source that is within you. You are restored to a unified state of being, where you are no longer separate from the experience you once sought. And it is in this act of being, it is in this act of practice that you are set free. Now, if you truly believe you're in a place where you're ready to let go, surrender, and detach from the traditional teachings of the world, and you want to restore yourself to a state of wholeness, a state of peace, a state of freedom, I want to cover a few super important pieces of information you're going to need to take with you on your journey. And like I referred to at the beginning of this video, it's going to be an act of unlearning. You're going to have to let go of a lot of the things that you were taught over your decades in the workforce, or your decades engaging with a society that sold you a dream and has an outdated belief system of what it means to be human, what it means to truly live, and what it means to experience a fulfilling and fruitful life, blessed with peace and abundance. Now in Proverbs 3:5, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So regardless of what God you believe in, whether that's the universe, whether that's Krishna, whether you engage in the Eastern Chinese philosophies like Buddhism and Taoism, or you believe in Jesus Christ and the Western religions, you must realize that there is a natural source at the root of all things. I mean, look behind me, life is happening. I'm not inflicting my will upon it. I can't tell the sun to rise at a certain cadence and set at a certain cadence. I can't wake humanity and all of life up at 7:15 a.m. and set them into their daily routines and habits. I can't control the breeze that so gently blows upon the nature behind me, or the birds that chirp. There's a natural rhythm to life, and this is the flow of all things. It is the same flow that encourages you and makes you spend 9 months in the womb. Because 4 months in, you're not like, hey mom, I'm ready to come out. No, you're trusting in your nature. You're trusting in the divine intelligence and the natural cadence of all things. But when we come out of the womb, we develop an ego. We edge God out. EGO. We become so engaged with the illusion of ourselves, with our identities, with our own unique suffering, our own unique insecurities, our own desires, perspectives, and opinions. That we get entrenched in this illusion that causes us eternal suffering. Because that ego and that mind will never know, or it will never have a true solution to the God-shaped void within. And this is going to require us to let go. Because we must let go of the unconscious loops that run on autopilot, right? The programmed thoughts, the ways that we've programmed our neural pathways to think certain things, engage and identify with certain limiting beliefs, have certain judgments and opinions upon the 101 things happening in this chaotic world. We must learn to let go of that inner tension that causes us to wake up and forces our mind to race at 100 miles an hour at 7:15 in the morning, or our heart to race because we have 100 emails to respond to, or we slept in 7 minutes too long and we're going to show up to work late and we didn't finish the kids' lunch and they still got to get off to school. You see how we so easily get sucked into the matrix of the world. We become detached from the eternal source, that natural cadence of all things, because life is moving at its own pace and we cannot change that. Sometimes you're going to be late, sometimes you're going to be early, sometimes you're going to be on time. But each of those three things are divine in their own right, because it is what it is. But as soon as you try and change reality, as soon as you try and reshape it to your egoic will, as soon as you try and control it, you once again lose yourself into the process of the ego trying to become God of his own creation, or its own creation. Now, Buddha says the mind is everything, and what you think you become. This is because whatever we hold in mind tends to manifest. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've spent the last 10, 15, 20, 30 years thinking the same things, engaging the same self-limiting beliefs, feeling the same feelings of scarcity or insecurity, or the fact that your life is just fading away between your fingertips, first of all, I want to say that's okay. But that is not permanent. That is not you. That is just something that we've programmed ourselves to hold into mind. And when you can truly surrender and let go, you set yourself free. But it is a process of unlearning. I'm sure in this video, you might have had moments where you let go of a certain limiting belief, or you let go of a certain thought, or you let go of a certain feeling, and you're like, oh my God, I feel immediately better. That's my goal with this content, is to show you that that state's readily available, but it's going to require work, because one of the greatest limiting beliefs that people have is that surrendering and letting go is an act of non-action. They're saying, well, do I just give up? Do I just give up? That's your ego talking. Your ego's like, well, I can't just give up the bills I have to pay. Well, I can't just give up the fact that I have to show up to work 5 days a week. Well, I can't just give up the fact that I've got a family to raise and I've got mouths to feed. You see how it's that exact narrative in your mind that is causing all your suffering? Because what if I told you that you could do all of those things but experience inner freedom? What if I told you that your life could become an effortless unfolding of this blossoming of peace within your being? Because it can. But we just need to reorient your inner work to reflect the act of surrender and letting go, so you can repattern your mind. And I know, not only do you have bills to pay, not only do you think surrender and letting go is an act of giving up, but you're also probably like, how do I actually let go? Because every time I think about letting go, every time I tell myself to let go, I just can't seem to do it. I just can't seem to experience this practice. Well, I want to tell you that the egoic and logical mind will never be able to get you there. It's a felt sensation in the body. And it is a felt sensation when you make peace with what is. You have to accept life. You cannot repress the negativity, because as soon as you repress something, you push it away. And that requires energy to hold that distance. And when you let go, it's going to swing back to you. When you hold on to something and you try and keep it close to you, that requires energy. And when you let go, it's going to swing away from you. So the entire act of control, regardless of what side you come at it from, is the thing that is going to forever polarize you and push the actual experience you want further away. But when you could slow down and you could become present and you can just accept life as it is, you move through life with a state of wholeness. You're no longer attached to work or career going a certain way. You're no longer attached to World War III or life going a certain way. You're just good as you are in this moment, because the only thing you can control is your inner world, right? That's why the Buddha said the mind is everything. Control your mind, you reshape your life. So just know surrender and letting go is an inner experience of setting yourself free and being okay with everything that comes your way. And I know it's not easy. I know it can be tough at times, but the more consistently you practice this, just like you practice a bicep curl at the gym or a lat pull down, the muscle becomes stronger and an inner state of freedom and peace can become your default state. Now, I know I talk a lot about surrender, and you're probably in a space where you're at wit's end of everything your logical mind and ego has tried to grasp for control over and logically try and find a solution to, and you're actually ready to experience the letting go within your body, where you can finally feel safe and you can no longer feel like you're clenching on to life. The inner experience of freedom in your thoughts and your mind. So if you want to learn how to actually surrender and let go, I encourage you to join my Telegram. I've got over 300 people in there, and I send you messages every day so we can make sure we're engaging the practices as a community. I'm learning to surrender, let go, and set ourselves free. So go check out the first link in the description and join the Telegram, and let's go from there. I'll see you in the next one. We out.